Okay, practice 10. I thought the guys really came out today with a lot of energy as we get to this point where we really have to push through our 15 practices and take one practice at a time. I thought the guys really responded well. You know, sometimes these days are tough after the 2 days off of rest, get you out of rhythm a little bit. But I thought they did a good job today, played with a lot of energy. We've talked about how well our defense has played all camp, and then to have Loney back today, who's been banged up and been out most of camp, you know, just adds to the competition up there on defense and gives us, you know, potentially 8 guys we're really excited about. So I thought the guys were pretty focused today. Had really good meetings and really came out and had a good practice.
What was the idea behind the drill that you did there at the end?
Well, it's our first shot of short yards and then goal line, and you know, so we try to create an energetic atmosphere because that's what goal line is. You know, we're going to go up to places like Oregon and Washington and Notre Dame and all these places you're going to go. It's going to be very loud, and you're going to have to focus. And you're going to have distractions. So we created an environment that the players were most like it would be in a game. And so that's the only way I know how to practice goal line and make it realistic for these guys. And it was good to see no penalties. You know, I think a lot of times you get into goal line situations and guys false start because you haven't practiced that way. So it was good to see our guys maintain focus in a highly energetic environment.
Who picked the music?
I don't know. That's a good question.
You? It wasn't you.
I think we put Kerry Colbert was our music liaison. So.
When you're in that situation, are you rooting for the offense even though you're the head coach because you do stuff with the offense?
That's a good question. No, I'm rooting for execution. To see guys play really hard and physical and execute. And then, you know, it comes down to players making plays. And so I like when both sides make plays. There were some good plays on offense. For instance, Bradford there, and there were some really good plays on defense. For instance, Hughes and McDonald. So the main thing is to see execution in that. You know, you go back and watch the film. Are the guys in the right shades? Are they stepping with the right feet? Even though, you know, it's in that type of environment. It's easy to do an individual at the beginning of practice, but you know, we save it to the end of practice when they're tired and have been out here for a long time.
Is there anyone reviewing the scrimmage stuff that jumped out at you that wasn't obvious, you know, to watch it on Saturday?
Maybe Malcolm, you know, because he didn't have that many reps, but he was so productive. You know, we haven't had a lot of shots with him in those situations. You know, probably of the first 8 plays, he made 3 of them himself. And really flashed, really looked like a big-time NFL guy for that, you know, for the few plays that he played.
What does it show you when you guys all huddled up there and Devon Kennard said, let's go back out there? What does that show you about him?
Well, it shows how competitive he is. Once again, you're talking about a true freshman. So you know, that shows a lot of leadership. He steps up in that offense and won the drill. You know, he had scored more times than defense has stopped him. And, that shows the competitive nature that we're trying to build and that we look for. You know, guys that don't accept losing and want to keep fighting.
How much you said the other day, Rojo, we weren't sure if it was a shoulder or an elbow. What is his deal? And how long is he out?
It's his elbow. He did do some individual, but you know, it's something that we don't know. You know, it's going to be a day-to-day, and he could potentially be back by Saturday.
How much? Go ahead, Mike.
Was Kyle Prater limited at all today?
His back's sore. We pushed him through, trying to make sure he understands that, you know, as a pup. And that hit from the political scrimmage, his back's really tight. So he pushed through, but you can tell he's in obvious pain.
Have you done much conversation with NFL people about Tennessee kids that are coming out? I mean, it's...
Yeah, you get calls, and a lot of guys on Pro Day come up and ask me more about those guys than our guys here because obviously we were there with those guys, and so we still get calls at times about our guys here and our guys that were there as well.
Where would you rate Eric Berry in terms of kids coming out?
Yeah, I think he's a top 5 pick. I think Eric's a very special safety in the fact that he's physical and he can play man-to-man and he can play in the deep post. You know, there aren't many like that. You know, he could be a nickel and he could be a strong safety and a free safety. So, you know, kind of in the style of Troy, where Troy can do so many different things. Eric's similar to that.
Have you shown your safeties film of Eric?
Yeah, it's in our cut-ups. You know, a lot of the teach stuff, it's not specifically Eric, but he shows up and obviously flashes because obviously we're carrying over a lot from what we did there, so they see him at times.
You said you weren't happy with the run game Saturday. Reviewing the film, did you feel the same way, and did you see any improvement today?
Yeah, I felt the same way looking at the film. 2 yards of carry, and that got hurt a little bit because there was I think an 18-yard loss on the snap that went over the head. But same deal. We weren't consistent up front. We weren't consistent with the backs, and then receivers we blocked extremely poor. There's some plays that could have broke that we did not do well out there. That's been addressed. And so it's a good thing to have it happen now. And our guys got to see it. We really went back and broke it down, showed them a bunch of film over the last 2 days of exactly the difference of the little things of how a big play happens and where it is and how we miss that.
With the reports that Anthony McCoy tested positive for marijuana, did you use that as a teaching moment for any of your players?
No, I didn't. Our players, that's been addressed with our players. We didn't need that for a teaching moment. I'd like to think we're ahead of that.
James Boyd got some 13 reps today. What's the ideal weight you want him at to play quarterback? I guess how big is too big?
I'm just trying to get James to take a snap, so we haven't really addressed his weight yet. That's a hard transition to become a major college quarterback all of a sudden. But James had a great attitude about it. We're excited to work with him. But the weight on our list of getting him to read and understand our offense and understand defense as well.
He seemed pretty frustrated with the results of his few plays there. Is that going to be the hard thing with him, to sort of tell him that he needs to be patient?
I don't think so. I just think there's a lot of build up to that for him. I'm sure he really hasn't gotten any reps in a live situation like that, and so there's a lot going on when you get into those situations. It goes back to how special Matt is. Players rarely come in as true freshmen and play quarterback and just get thrown in there in college football, even if they've done it their whole life. There's a lot that goes into that. It's like we say a lot of times, the true freshman quarterback, we're just happy if they can get out of the huddle and get the snap, let alone do all the other stuff. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.